name is Patricia Dunn. Today I'll be reviewing some additional videos we watched in my Speech 1315 class, going straight into the first video of 6 Ways to Start a Speech by Ruth Song. So we spoke a little bit about this topic when we spoke about the videos from communication coach Alex Lyon. Today we'll be addressing some of those same tips as well as a couple additional tips that Ruth Song mentioned. The first one is going to be using facts or statistics. So these should be reputable sources. This should be from people who have already expanded upon the topic or have notable research on the topic. This was one of the ideas mentioned by Alex Lyon in our previous videos. The next one is going to be a story. This was also another one mentioned by Alex Lyon in our previous videos. But keeping on to the topic, it should basically be a story that still pertains back to your main points of your message and still align with your overall objective of your speech. Number 3 is going to be use a quotation. This was also a previously recommended tip. It should be a quotation that still applies to the central idea of your topic and is still mindful of your audience. Number 4 should be a question. So it could be a question pertaining to the topic. It should also be able to guide the objective of your topic and kind of help audience grasp kind of the broader concept of what you'll be discussing. Number 5 is going to be using silence. This was a newer tip. In the video, it was a man that was playing an instrument and then it just kind of goes into silence. I never really heard of that one before, so I found this one as an interesting way to start a speech. But weirdly, silence actually was an effective method as well as for starting a speech. Number 6 is going to be humor. Humor is just something that kind of leaves a lasting impression and can instantly gain the audience's attention. So another way to start a speech that Ruth Song mentioned in her video was by using humor. So I really did enjoy this video. It gave multiple examples of each one of these tips, and I felt like having the 2 new tips introduced, which is the silence and the humor, was something that further expanded on my ability and my knowledge of starting a speech. The next one we're going to go into is selecting an informative speech topic. So this video was by Megan Jamerson, and she goes over different tips on how to construct a perfect speech and kind of where you should start when looking and seeking out a speech. The number one thing that I feel like we would all instantly go to, which would be Google, but she actually strays against that. She actually advises that you do not use Google. You have to dig. All your ideas and examples are all around you, and it's best to use a topic that's fresh, new, relatable, and around you at the time. So her second tip is going to be use something new, fresh, and around you. This could be news, this could be something personal, this could be a trending topic, anything of that nature. The number 3 is going to be to make sure that you inform. Sometimes when we're giving informative speeches, if we're passionate about a topic, we can kind of lean over to the area of persuading the audience. When giving an informative speech, you want to make sure that you're still addressing both the pros and the cons of the topic. Not really trying to get the audience to lean either way, but simply educating and informing them on the topic. Number 4 is make sure that your topic is researchable. She strays against things like hobbies or activities, as they can kind of be based off of your experience versus reputable research. So you want to make sure that your topic can be researched. It has reputable sources. There's information, data, statistics, and studies to back up what your ideas are. Number 5 is to make sure that you narrow your topic. So she does explain something in this video that I think I can carry on in my writing and just through my educational journey of using a topic versus a subject. A subject can be very broad and cover multiple aspects of a topic, whereas a topic is very narrow, still honest to the subject, but is a lot more narrow. You can focus on that and emphasize that part of such a broad subject. And the last one is going to make sure that it's relatable. So the number 6 tip for that video was make sure that your topic is relatable. So whatever you do choose to discuss in your video, you want to make sure that you're aware of who your audience is and how this message can be carried by them. Why are you presenting this topic to this specific audience? Is it relatable for them? Can they apply this to their life? Are they going to take something away from listening to this? So another really good video that kind of gave more of an expansion on what Alex, the communication coach, has been going over with us. Just making sure that you're keeping all of these in mind is kind of the best way to go about whenever selecting a topic for your speech. The next video we watched is going to be a preview of presentation introductions, and this was by Alex Lyon, the communication coach. So he talked to us previously about intro, body, and conclusion, and in this video he dives further into introductions and how to start those speeches. He wanted to make sure that we emphasize that it should be short, it should be brief, and it should be concise, dropping your main points down to even as simplistic as one word. You want to make sure that you pause and allow the audience to receive your points, your message, and kind of absorb your introduction. And then once you've clearly stated your points and your introduction, you go straight into your first point and begin with your body, which includes information and transitions. I am a big fan of Alex the Communication Coach's videos. I've learned so much and have already began applying them to my videos here in Speech 1315. So again, another great video expanding further upon introductions. The next video we watched is going to be how to start your presentation in a 4-step formula. So in the past, like I said with Alex the Communication Coach, we've got millions of tips on what to kind of look for, what to expect, and kind of how to organize your introduction, your body, your conclusion. This video is more of a framework or a roadmap of your introduction. So the number one tip they go into, or the number one part they go into, is your hook. This could be, as we've discussed in previous videos, a story, a quote, a stat, anything that's kind of something that's going to hook your audience in and initiate your message. The next thing is going to be number 2, the transition to your topic. So how are you transitioning these themes? How are you transitioning from one point to the next? The number 3 is going to be your self-introduction and preview. So basically, you don't have to give out your whole life and why you're credible and valid to be speaking about this topic, but you can kind of give them a brief introduction on what brings you to this topic, a brief introduction on your topic. You don't want to, again, go into any main points or give any obsessive detail quite yet, but this is still a very important part of your introduction. Number 4 is going to be audience benefits. So kind of like what we were going back talking about, making sure that this is relatable to the audience. What is the audience going to take away from this? Why should they be listening? And in this part, you want to be very specific, because this is a good part to kind of give them a roadmap of what your presentations are going to be, kind of the things that Alex Lyon has discussed in our previous videos, just kind of outlining what the presentation should be about going forward. So listening to these 4 videos and applying this knowledge to what our upcoming project is, I did begin to kind of think about what I plan to do my introduction speech about. After research and further consideration, I decided to do my speech on the importance of mental health awareness. I chose this topic because I also myself struggle with mental health issues, and a lot of it and the road I took to treatment was very highly stigmatized. So I felt like this was an important topic for me to expand upon, just because I have overcome this hurdle in my life, and I'm eager to spread awareness and bring attention to this topic. I am hoping that this knowledge may encourage or educate others to seek mental health support, establish awareness, establish a community for others struggling in the same situation. According to the National Health Association, 1 in 5 adults struggle with mental health awareness. So being that this is such a broad topic, and that is almost 56,000 people, or 56 million people, struggling with the same mental health issues or in the same categories of mental health, I find that it's a broad topic, but it's something that's important and relevant to everyone. So it should be able to easily relate to my audience here in Speech 1315. So that concludes what our video will be about today. The review of the mental health will be further expanded on in the next few videos. My name is Patricia Dunn. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day.